Hello, this is Dr. Sanjay Kumar Rai. Today, I would like to talk on urinary alkalinization. This is the process which is actually used in patient with poisoning, and most clearly it is used in patient with poisoning of acidic component. The reabsorption of any substance, acidic or alkaline, that depends on its ionization. As we know, any epithelial membrane like renal tubular membrane are lipid bilayer, and through the lipid bilayer ionized compound cannot cross. I repeat again, through the lipid bilayer membrane ionized compound cannot cross easily. So any ionized substance which is present in the renal tubular fluid here, positive or negative, cannot cross through this membrane barrier. So when a patient came to us with, most importantly, acidic compound poisoning like salicylate, most importantly, or methotrexate, these are weak acid in nature. The patient with acid poisoning, when came to us, if we make the renal tubular cell alkaline, that is pH more than 7, and here pH should be 7.5 or more than 7.5, and in that pH 7.5 or more, the acidic compound inside the renal tubular cell will be ionized, and this ionized compound will not be reabsorbed, rather it will be excreted through urine in high rate. So the question is, how can we make the urine alkaline? Usually in clinical setting we use sodium-bicarb, that is sodium bicarbonate, in short sodium-bicarb, 1.5 liter sodium-bicarb solution of 1.6%. This is the strength of sodium bicarbonate. In market there are a number of strength or power of sodium bicarb. And here we use 1.6% sodium bicarb, 1.5 liter, and this fluid 1.5 liter, a large amount of fluid, should be infused very rapidly within or over 2 hours, and this will make the patient's renal tubular cell alkaline, and in the alkaline media the acidic compound like salicylate or methotrexate will remain ionized, and that ionized particle will not be reabsorbed, rather it will be excreted in high rate in urine. So patient will get recovery early. Now is there any complication of urinary alkalinization? Complication, yes, everything has some good and bad hand. So here the complication may be, though the patient already taken acidic compound like salicylate, so patient already have metabolic acidosis, and in this setting we give alkaline solution. Very uncommonly patient may develop alkalemia, that is alkalosis. Patient may develop alkalosis, and sometimes hypokalemia, that is decreased level of potassium. How? As you know, inside the cell potassium level usually increase, and hydrogen level outside the cell usually more than the inside. When there is alkalosis, to compensate the alkalosis in extracellular fluid, the more and more hydrogen ion will come into the extracellular fluid from the intracellular fluid, and in exchange of more and more potassium will be transported inside the cell from the extracellular fluid. That means there is a exchange mechanism will be operated where potassium enter inside the cell and hydrogen came out from the cell from inside the cell to outside the cell, and this mechanism will be responsible for this hypokalemia. And as you know, alkalosis sometimes may cause alkalotic tetany, and very uncommonly sometimes it may cause hypocalcemia, that means decreased level of calcium. So this is about urinary alkalinization. And sometimes if urinary alkalinization is not appropriate, that means when the patient take very strong acid, not salicylate, very strong acid, in that case instead of urinary alkalinization we should use hemodialysis. Okay, so when should we use hemodialysis? If severe metabolic acidosis, number 1, patient already in coma or convulsion, if there is pulmonary edema, okay, or patient already have previously chronic renal failure. Okay, in this case instead of using urinary alkalinization we should go for hemodialysis. Okay, thank you very much.